reach around. That's the 1, 2, 4. I get down, so I get down on the floor. This 1, 2.
Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, 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 y'all. And we back, y'all. And we back, y'all. And we back, back, y'all. School, school. What's up, everybody? Another episode on this wonderful. What's today? Oh, Super Bowl Sunday. I really don't know the day. I
It's
just
not Super
know.
Bowl Sunday. It's
That's
just
what I just call
Sunday.
it, Super Bowl
It's just
Sunday,
another
on
beautiful
February
Sunday.
3rd. That's the date.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful day. Beautiful day. It's been so cold in New York City. Oh my God. It was brick schmick. Shout out to everybody that has survived this weekend. Oh my God. It was like, yo, for real. But shout out to everybody that survived, that was in the heat. Shout outs to the homeless out there too that found some shelter and all that. We really don't appreciate what y'all did at MDC either. So, you know what I mean? Everybody that was against that, you know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about that. Well, I ain't really going to talk about that because another episode of Art School, you know what I'm saying? We in the building. It's your host, your baby moms, a.k.a. the Silverest of the Silverest, a.k.a. the multicolored Power Ranger, a.k.a. Professor X, because I handle all my business sitting down. That's a big fact. Hashtag that. Yo, I got the best playlist, you know what I'm saying? As soon as, yo, what up, bro? We appreciate the sounds and things, you know what I mean? Shout outs to Math in the back, engineering as well. We got a new table, so we not actually, you know what I mean, claustrophobic with the engineering part. Looks like a nice little setup there. Got a little checkerboard, a little flow, like Teflon skin or something like that. I don't know. Today's guest, as we continue with every episode. This is episode 26. Yeah, I think we are episode 26. The University of Art. We are here, and like I said, this part is more of the educator, the 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 one that kind of sits a little bit above the teacher's realm, but is into the world of teaching, and stuff like that. You know, I would like to think more and more of the universe and how, I mean, we start off all of this art school thing, it's part of like, what's a store? Yeah, it was a store connection, you know what I mean? Shout outs to Artists and Craftsmen Supply that has been rocking and rocking and rocking, you know what I mean? And a lot of people come through. A lot of people say what's up. They be like, yo, I this is the materials we need, what I'm saying, things like that. I'm like, all right, cool, materials you want. It's a pretty crafty store. It's not like the fake like Michaels or anything like that. They're pretty.
It's been around. I mean, it's
Yeah,
been
it's
around
been around.
long
So
before Michael's was on Atlantic.
yeah, low key.
More than one.
Yeah, it's been around since
Yeah.
I think the 80s. Low key got about 35 stores
Hmm.
nationwide. And
And a couple here.
yeah, specialized. It's a specialized store in a sense. I wouldn't even lie, but it's kind of ironic of the placement of where it was at. Me
Hmm.
at Bushwick store. Me being from East New York.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that store existed.
I can walk to you guys from where I live.
Yeah, I never knew
Yeah.
that store existed. I was like, hold on,
Hmm.
what, and I actually showed up there just working out of doing my own thing,
Hmm.
So I'm like, hey man, I need like raw canvas, and I just so happened to peep that spot, but I never knew that even existed. Anywho, run up in there, get the spot, boom, fast forward, I'm working there.
Hmm.
How did that happen? I don't know,
Yeah.
but
I think when I called the store, you picked up the phone.
yeah, how that sound?
You sounded like you cared.
Yeah,
You,
but
you talked about kids and you talked about art, and I was like, well, I'm kind of doing some of the same stuff over there.
I skipped this a little bit, because of whatever was going on, but I've been practicing it. Tonight's guest, excuse me, I'm the host, Marlon. Tonight's guest, Sadaf
There you
Padla.
go.
See, I said it right, yeah.
Yes. Hey.
Excuse me.
I appreciate the effort because
Yeah.
I know some people who've known my name for years and don't even care to try. So
Yeah,
I very much
nah.
appreciate. Not something to be
Yeah,
stressed about. It's just it's the thought that counts.
I was like, nah, I can't.
There's a bunch of ways to pronounce it based on what language people speak to, because it's a name in a couple languages. But Sadaf, like Arabic, Urdu, Persian. I have friends who speak these different languages and
Yeah, I
say
was
my
kind of
name.
nervous.
But you did it.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
So, you know what I
And
mean?
now you'll keep doing it.
So I feel good about
Hell
that.
yeah.
So, doing so, yeah, you just like kind of came into the store and well, you called first, like you said. He
And then
came
we
into
emailed for a little while.
yeah,
Yeah.
and uh, just being like so much someone that was into community. You know what I mean? I guess that's where the universe aligned us, or I would say put myself in that store. I was really wasn't looking for. I was looking for a job, but I wasn't really looking for a job
We
like
may have
that.
never crossed paths otherwise.
Yeah, it never would have happened. So you just so happened to walk into the store and, you know, boom, n- donations. We was able to give a
Yeah.
few items to the store. I mean, for your school.
More than a few. I mean, a lot of kids were able to go home with art supplies. And, it's a way you see kids express themselves. They love to draw. So it really meant a lot to them.
So
Did you get,
that
I left you a gift that day.
yeah, you definitely did. I
Yeah.
appreciated
Some
that.
swag from the school.
You know what I mean? But it was you know, that's how it started. Boom. You know what I mean? Now rewind,
And now here
rewind.
we
You
are.
know now.
Yeah.
You know what I
That
mean?
was last summer.
Yeah, that was last
That
summer.
was last spring, even.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? See how that happened. So for everybody that's tuning in, it's
I love
you have to
Brooklyn. I
understand.
love Brooklyn for things like that.
Yeah,
Just happen. It just all the time.
it doesn't happen overnight either, and connections and networks and
Yeah.
stuff like
No,
that.
I'm always grateful for meeting people who also, you are of the community and from the community. And I'm here just, I came 5
Yeah,
years
I
ago.
just
I love
love
New York.
Brooklyn.
I love Brooklyn too. From the day I decided I was going to move here.
Yeah, so like we said, so that's where it starts, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody that's
Yeah.
tuning in,
Community.
UStream, you know what I mean. Community, yo,
Yeah.
that's really important. You know what I mean. That's really
Yeah.
important. How we getting here? Like you said, you're in a school. You know what I mean. Shout outs to
Miss Patter.
oh Miss. No, I'm saying shout
Oh.
outs to
Shout
uncommon.
out to me.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean.
Uncommon
Like
Schools. Yeah.
how did we get to that point? You know what I mean? Now you're in Brooklyn, you're in Bushwick. You said like you said it was walking 2 blocks away. You know what I mean? Really close. You know what I mean? How do we get there? How did that
Gosh.
journey begin?
I mean, I feel like the journey depends where you want to start the story, right? Like it can be in my own lifetime or hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years before.
Were your parents educators?
My parents are both doctors, so they valued education as a way to be able to leave circumstances that were oppressive or difficult. My father is from a really small village in the Himalayas, the Valley of the Himalayas in India, and they used to walk 6 miles to school, like pile rocks so the bus would stop to pick them up. My mother, she was one of the first brown families to move into Wimbledon, England. Yeah, she was one of the first brown girls. She worked at the tennis court. She saw Arthur Ashe win the cup. So for them, they were always taught, even in these countries, in India and England, you hear of like Harvard and you hear of PWIs and you hear of that as like a ticket. It's like that's something people, they strive for. So my father had this American dream from this village in India, got married to my mom. They went to England, came to the U.S. I came when I was 3. We moved to New York. We moved to the Bronx.
So you're in the boogie down?
I was, for like a year and a half, not that
Yeah.
long. But that
Okay.
being said, that backstory, my parents' education was like always unquestioned, something they valued. It was interesting becoming a teacher and seeing them have to shift their expectations of like, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a lawyer, but they've learned a lot. I think I've learned so much, and by function, they have too. So I started out teaching in Baltimore. I went to school in D.C., taught in Baltimore.
What part of Baltimore?
I was in West Baltimore by Dundalk. The school has, when you first started teaching, I think it's the hardest thing a lot of people have ever done. A lot of people I talk to who teach first year teaching. How long have you been teaching for?
Probably about 5 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's much easier than it was in the first year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the school, you know, I learned a lot more than I think I taught. But I think my kids had an impact on me, and I think I know I had an impact on some, but you just never know
Were
fully.
there were there well, when you say the education, were you what field was it? The arts? Because
No.
I mean I it wasn't no arts.
No, I mean, I
Oh,
kind of did, it's kind of like what I do now, where I just try to find where it intersects. Like, I think these things always blend. Even growing up, high school, college, I was always on the lookout for, like, what are exhibitions, what are installations happening, what are performances happening. I've always supported and just appreciated the arts so much. I think had I been able to go to school for arts when I was young, maybe taken lessons, I would have, but it wasn't within our culture. So, well, I taught history in Baltimore. History is storytelling.
yeah.
Storytelling lends itself to art. You have to create imagery for kids. So I wrote our first grant for the school in Baltimore. We got our first like arts assembly. I had an artist in residence come and workshop with my kids for a week. I had someone from like the Jewish Heritage Museum come in and pretend to be like a immigrant from Ellis Island with like a trunk of stuff donated from the museum. So I was able to do some cool intersections also because nobody came to my classroom. I think for 3 years I was observed maybe for an hour total. Was doing whatever we wanted over in that wing. It was like a middle school wing and a Baltimore high school. So I taught 6th through 12th grade.
Baltimore is wild. Baltimore is wild.
I was just having this conversation before I
Oh
got
man,
here.
shout out to everybody that's in Baltimore. You know, part of what I've seen out there, you know what I mean, of course like the decrepit housing situation that's going on out there. That's like wild.
A lot of places that are. Yeah.
I'm like, sheesh. I mean, whole blocks, you know what I mean? Or
Whole
one
blocks.
house on the block.
I would drop and that's where my students would live,
Yeah.
if
And,
at that.
and how important, those programs were, I always thought about that. And it's kind of like it kind of messes your mind up when you just see, because I was looking at the colors of the house and it's like a burgundy, it's like a gray, you know, it's this green, and it's not really good, it's no vibes, no energy that comes behind it, those extra parts,
Just, yeah.
you need those. So shout out to all the educators, you know what I mean? And
A
shout out to your
lot.
parents too, you know what I mean?
Thanks.
For actually,
I'm forever grateful.
yeah, just saying,
They let me
there's,
learn. Yeah.
why not be you know, I mean, well, instilling something into that, because there's some parents out there that need to do that a little bit more for their kids. You know what I mean? I look
Yeah.
at that a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think what's interesting is what I see sometimes is the way parents that, my own parents versus parents that I work with and families I work with. Because at this point at our school here in Bed-Stuy, I've known some of these families for 5 years. Like, I've taught siblings, 2, 3, all the way through. We can only give whatever experiences we've had. So if someone has had a negative experience with an education system, they might not even know how to navigate it, let alone help navigate a kid. And so that was something like, I remember seeing that growing up in my own high schooling versus good friends of mine who were literally not able to afford going to our state college. And we were in the same classes, same honors and AP classes in high school, college, but my town is literally divided by like a railroad. And my friends who were of color, we lived on one side, and the town looked the same as the cafeteria. Yeah.
That's a little strange, but I mean, hey, I always thought about it like this. You know what I mean? As we connect the dots,
Yeah.
Education. Why not have chosen to be a doctor? Follow the footpath or footsteps of your parents.
I always liked talking. I always liked conversing with people and writing and reading, and I think that writing was my earliest form of like artistic expression. And I realized from a very young age, like, I was the one who would be picking up the phone calls at home, like fielding the calls, or keeping, um, writing, journaling at a very young age, poetry. I started writing fan fiction when I was in middle school. I was on like, then I started doing some like sci-fi fan fiction in high school.
My moms love sci-fi.
My mother too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sat us down how to watch all Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of like now that I've been developing over the last year and a half, thinking of myself as an artist as well. It's not I'm looking back on all these things I've done with my hands and that my mother gave to me, right? My mother taught me how she would bring home things, wooden boxes and birdhouses for us to paint and like take us on walks and have us press different plants and we would make our own bookmarks. And that's I see it in my art now, but just having like, now it's just developed through me.
Yeah,
So.
that's really important, and it's early. How early were you doing things like that? I think I was like 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
4 or 5. You know what I mean? Just
It's just
painting, doing something.
yeah, just
You know what I
taught to
mean?
look at the world in a different,
Yeah.
in a particular lens, see
So
colors in a way.
you said it like a storyteller, and things like that. Do you remember the first time you actually like said this was it? This is like something that I really want to do, or was it always, I'm just filling this out. You know what I mean? I'm good at this. You know.
Yeah.
When was that first? Well, when was that first time? I don't know. I don't know what type of question that is, but hey, it's our school. So
Now that you ask it, I have like a couple memories coming up, and just I kind of see it more like a wave, right? You feel like a smaller pulse when you're younger; it gets stronger and stronger. So I remember like really enjoying book reports because I got to collage, right? And then I remember I got to take ceramics in high school, and which is also just, I couldn't even imagine being able to offer ceramics to my students. That would be just the world. Imagine having how much a kiln costs.
oh, crazy, right?
Right. But I remember knowing then how much I loved working with my hands, and I still have, that's something I return to. I found that I'll look at hobbies and I'll kind of put a lot of time into it for a year or 2 years, 3 years. So when I started teaching is when I really realized I needed something with like an outlet through my hands artistically. So I started doing henna a lot more then.
Yeah, we was gonna talk about that a little bit because you said like you like working on your hands. You actually do work on your hands, The henna, yeah, we're gonna get to that though, because you actually has turned that into a business of its own as well, you know. I I think I asked you a question once. I was like, yo, would you put henna on somebody's face? Like,
I
can
get
you-
asked that like at least once a month.
Once a month? That's like me with, yo, you do tats. Like, yeah, the first thing is when you draw, you know what I mean? Does that bother you when someone
No,
asks you
'cause-
automatically?
Because I can usually tell if someone is asking if they want to know versus if they want me to tattoo their face. Students would ask all the time, but they'd be like, "I want an ice cream cone," or
And embracing that within cultures too, you know what I mean? It's like, it's pretty dope, you know? I really like the fact that there is a design like that that's, kind of permanent, but it's not permanent. But it actually isn't the, what's that? The candy machine tattoo. You
it's
know?
not plastic; it's ancient.
Yeah, and
It's from the earth.
I really, when it started to really like touch down to where, it was at festivals and stuff like that, and then I seen like a whole market of it
It
at
has,
what was that? I think it was the Ebony Fest that they had under the Dumbo Bridge
yeah.
last
They
year.
have like two vendors at Afropunk for henna.
Yeah, Afropunk super major with that, but just to see that it's embraced by other cultures is pretty dope, And it's not that cheesy ass, because I hated that gumball. I hated that. I really hated that gumball tattooing style. That's like the stuff that you peel.
You used to get them.
No, I never got. I despised them. Actually,
Yeah.
I was like, ew, you got a tattoo? Like, it was like. But then when I seen the henna very early, I was like, ooh.
Because it becomes part of your skin.
Is there a particular way that you design, or do you follow a certain?
It's always kind of free flowing and intuitive. Sometimes you can see what kind of elements someone likes. So if someone wants to have a little more input, asking if they like lines or geometry versus florals and spheres and circles. But most of the time, you don't really know what it's gonna look like before you start. It'll be like
You feeling
it's
them
like a
out?
absolutely.
Do you feel a spirit when you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, if you, I mean, a lot of the people I have done henna on are usually friends and usually were in like my home versus, events I've done. But that's just something that I kind of fell into word of mouth. And then I was like, let me just get an Instagram and see like how I can network in Brooklyn. And it's brought me, I mean, honestly, it's kind of how I met a lot of people I'm around now.
Okay.
Even in we met through the school, but
Yeah.
even in our circles, we kind of run in some similar
Yeah, it's
circles.
kind
That's
of
through henna.
crazy. It's kind of
Because we
crazy.
would have met, I think, eventually.
Yeah.
But we just happened to meet earlier, and that's
Yeah,
been
so
great.
to all the artists out there that's tuning in, you know what I'm saying? Be easy, and accept your role in the universe because it is crazy because
We're
when
powerful
like you said,
beings.
connecting the dots in the beginning, it's like, oh yeah, I know her. Yeah, I just did a show. And it's crazy because I think you would have liked it. I really think that you would have liked that one show that we had. It was pretty crazy. And a friend of ours, Ashley, you know what I mean? She was the dancer at the show. So it was
Well,
pretty cool.
next time I hope
Yeah, it was,
we'll be.
well,
I'll be keeping an eye on what you're up to.
yeah,
Have been.
I've been working on some
Kids art
stuff.
show first.
Yeah, kids
Top of the
art
list.
shows. You know what I mean? We're going to talk a little bit more about
Yeah.
that. You working with kids, How long have you been in the field of working with kids so far?
Um, as like a certified educator, 7.5 years, but working with kids, I would say again, like my whole life since I was a kid. I just babysat from a young age. I'm an older sister. I have 3 younger siblings, so always watching kids, tutoring. I started tutoring when I was in high school. I tutored through college as well. People my age, people older, so that gave me a good basis. But I mean, teaching was a whole other thing. Being responsible for like other people's children and their minds is like a whole, yeah.
You want to shout out your alma maters?
Um,
No.
nah.
We
My
don't,
alma
you know
maters
what I
are
mean? Shout outs to Mega Evans, though.
Baltimore and Brooklyn for teaching me so much.
Yeah, I think
Thank
sometimes
you.
it's more the environment too
Yeah.
that teaches us so much,
Yeah.
and so well. How's that experience been going for you? With the city aspect, because
It's blended. I mean, it was really important to me when I moved here because I moved for the school, really. I went and observed the school. I was looking at jobs. I had offers from like the 3 networks, Success, Achievement First, and Uncommon, we don't have charters like that in Baltimore. But I remember seeing the classroom and being like, the attendance is 90%. It's like every kid is in their seat. Kids are raising their hands. Like I'd been in Baltimore for 3 years and I hadn't really seen that. I was getting in my classroom to some level, it really inspired me. It really inspired me, and my principal has been a really great mentor, so I wanted to move to work at that school. So I looked for a home close to that school.
you want to
So
shout out your principal.
oh, yeah. This goes to Justin Pigeon.
Hey, what's up, Josh?
Yeah, thanks for fighting the good fight and flying high and keeping your flock with you close and safe. Yeah,
indeed.
you're the top of our V.
Yeah, man, that's what's
Yeah,
up.
he's a great, great, great man.
It's important,
Yeah.
You said 3 powerhouses though in the charter school game out here. They're 3 powerhouses,
Yeah.
and you got the opportunity to work with one, and like you
Yeah,
were
and
saying,
it's 5 years later.
5 years later, ooh,
I
New
know.
York City. How was your first winter out here?
It's not that bad.
It was not
The
that
cold
bad.
is okay. I think being little and being in England and then going back and forth, it's just cold and rainy. And so the cold is not so bad.
Has there been?
The
Sorry,
winter has not been as bad since that first or second year I came.
Mm.
It hasn't snowed and iced as much.
any big changes that you've seen from the New York City
Yeah.
student with the Baltimore student, or is it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what's some of those
Absolutely.
changes?
Well, I think always I have to recognize that I know just a grain of I know a grain of all the people that there are to know, all the kids that were in the system in Baltimore schools. And I taught at a very unique school. We were one of the only two alternative programs in Baltimore, and we were the only 6th through 12th alternative program in Maryland. So kids who were over age to a certain extent, we were their only option. If you were 3+ years behind grade level. So so I worked with kids at that community high school, which is very different than working with in a middle school, a charter school. So you are seeing different dynamics there as well with what we're able to do with our budget, so we can use money differently and able to give our kids more, and also their middle school age.
Yeah.
So it's like it's totally different.
Yeah.
It's more so like, yeah, I mean, it's the same as comparing any two places, I guess. Yeah.
I see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. New York kids, I realize they don't. I remember talking about this with some educators who had worked in other cities and said that they felt like they don't talk as freely, as openly. Maybe in Baltimore, I think some, kind of knew what some kids were into and what they were up to, and it was just. But also, my students there were adults. So.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So it's hard to compare.
When you're a young teen, you could just say, you know what I mean? I'm doing this and I'm wilding.
I was 22.
Yeah.
And so my students were 21.
Yeah.
I didn't know much more. It was kind of like we were just like, okay, I'm going to tell you what I know and what I don't know. And then now you guys tell me what you know and don't know.
That's kind of like GED out here, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like GED out here. Like, if you're 21 and you got to just go get your GED. But, you know what I mean? Hey, man, to everybody out there that's educating, everybody that's out there in the field and rocking, you know what I mean? Today is, I guess, that day, Yeah. But we are talking to an educator. We're talking to a dean, right?
We're doing our first show this year. Our kids have a play. It's our first play. Our school's been open for 11 years. It's Law and Order Fairy Tale Edition.
Oh my God! So
yes, and we have everyone.
We continue on, we're gonna continue on with that. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that with Sadaf Paddler. I said it again. I'm so scared because not for nothing.
What's the worst that could happen? I'm not.
You don't do no henna on my hand or something.
You really think I would do that?
Or you probably do the you probably give me the Gucci Man
the ice cream cone on the face.
Yeah, the ice cream cone on my face or something. I don't know. I would take that though. I'm not even gonna lie. That'd be mad funny. But other than that, another episode of our school. You know what I mean? We was chilling here. Yo, this has been a good Sunday. I'm not gonna lie.
I love
the
Sundays.
weather.
The
weather has been great. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Math was in the back. You know what I'm saying? We happy for him. He was a little disgruntled earlier, but he came back. We've been playing.
He found his way.
We've been playing some great tunes by Sunez. Like I said, before we go back to the break, I got the best playlist on S.STREET Media. Everybody know that. I'm not playing with none of y'all, man. Turn the vibes on. And we're back, and this sounds way better.
And now your mic is on. Ooh,
Yeah.
mine too.
Another episode of Art School. We back with the host, your baby moms, aka the Silver versus the Surfer versus, aka the multicolored Power Ranger, aka Professor X, because I handle all my business sitting down. Yo, this wonderful ass Sunday's been pretty cool, yo. I was thinking about some art talks, and so podcasting and things like that. That was, you know, speaking more about the the variables of art, I should say, or the fields in art, and look look at like juxtapose and like hype beast and all these art blah 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 pages on Instagram and things like that, and it's like online magazines and the whole nine, but uh, they're not really talking about the educators, which is an art form of itself. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
That's true. I mean, some people would say that being an educator is also like being a performer. In front of a classroom, you engage a class. They memorize scripts. Like teachers look at their lessons, they write out what they're gonna ask, how who they're gonna call on, what type of response they're gonna have. So even think about education that way.
yeah, and I part of art school, part of the universe is featuring those who are, partaking in that part of the field, because that's dope.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, that's really dope. I think, so hype beast and juxtapose and all that. You know what I mean? Just recognize that, art school is here and it's a gang, and we plan on featuring all practices and all mediums of the art itself, because education is really important. As we feature someone like Sadaf. That's it, right?
Yep.
Padla, Miss Padla. I just want to say Miss Padla, right? But I really don't want to. I want to challenge myself to pronunciate a certain type of name, because we could easily say, what I mean, Hojante, real quick, and things like that. And when we talk about what this school is and the people that partake in it, it's not always just black or Hispanic. It is those the different the other shades of the brown diaspora. You said the Himalayas. That's deep.
Yeah.
Damn. How you get up here all the way from the Himalayas? You know
They're
what I'm
in
saying?
the valley, so it's like where the rivers and the lakes are.
That's still deep though.
It's deep.
That's
Yeah.
deep. That's far. That's past the Bronx. Then that whole transition coming to New York. Like
Yeah,
you said.
and to bring it back full circle, my uncle has been working for the last 8 years. He has a charity foundation, and he has been working to open a school there, and it's opening this year. March is when school systems open for the school year in India, and it's 600 students. It's fully enrolled already. Yeah, and it's a private school in that village.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like it in that area.
What's your uncle's name?
His name is Feroz.
Feroz. So
Yeah.
shout outs to you, Feroz, man, because
Yeah.
I ain't never heard. Dang, that's some good ass
Yeah.
news. That's bang. That's bang bang city right there. For real. That's on the realm of Little John. For real. Shout out to
Again,
Little John
education.
too. Yeah, shout out to
Education.
Little John. One
Yeah.
of the few rappers. He put out he just opened up another school in Africa. That was wild. You know what I mean? So the guy that said, yeah. And he's actually, today, Super Bowl Sunday, he put out a commercial. But we don't really talk about that. Back to the education. And you said it was a play coming up.
Yeah, Law and Order Fairy Tale Edition. So shout out to the teachers I work with. They put in we do a lot of work. We really feel like a family over there. And we have performing arts for the first time. Our students all get to take performing arts. That started a year ago. Our kids didn't used to have enrichment. They didn't used to have physical education for all the students. And now we also have computer science. So, students are engaging in monologues and improv, and I'm hoping that we can start to we don't have a space for visual arts, But this is just giving kids another medium of expression.
Well, it's coming.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
coming. We
yeah.
spoke. You know what I mean?
Oh
Shout out-
yeah. I mean, and it's been coming in through the club I run. I run like a small creative club, and we're doing different. I've been able to connect with different people who are now coming in and sharing what they do with the kids. People who are songwriters, dancers, actors, painters, DJs, and so. But again, this is after the workday's over. People who are running these things are doing it in their own time. And we already work a long day. I'm at school. I open the school building at 7:15 every day. And our bell rings at 4. And then, we don't leave at 4. We don't leave at 4. We got more work to do for the next day.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
Yeah.
I used
It's
to.
so important to have these
I used to laugh at the whole thing and the teachers leaving so late. I used to laugh. And I used to think about that. Like, damn.
And now you're a teacher.
Crazy. That's no Chuck. That's horrible, but it's all good. You know what I mean? Shout outs to all our educators out there.
It's better
though.
now because the nights are getting shorter again.
Yeah,
but
and
in
it
that
feels
stretch
better.
before
Yeah, it feels better because something about when that
before that
darkness comes,
moon,
you just want to go to sleep.
Well, you
Or you-
basically are because you sleep when it's dark, you wake up when it's dark, you leave work when it's dark, so you're just asleep.
Yeah, it just makes you
Couple
just.
months.
But
Yeah.
shout out to everybody that's been working
Yes.
with New York City and the best way that they can. Because at times it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, and I think more and more, I don't know if this is by function of me it has to be being here now longer and longer and engaging in more of these things. I feel like more opportunities for arts and youth are happening. More and more people are also coming up and coming back in our communities. Even the teachers I work with are now in the last 3-4 years really from Brooklyn, and that's been amazing.
Yeah, that's important. You gotta put the air lights there sometimes, because some of these kids ain't even trying to hear what you're trying to say because it's kind of they're like already being processed to be manufactured to think in only one way. You know what I mean? With everything else, like we said with the homes and stuff like that. So
That's why art is so important.
yeah, it's really important. So don't forget, y'all. Art for real is needed. You know what I mean? Don't act conceited. Take your kids to a gallery. You know what I mean? Take your niece and nephew out. And just have a talk about color, how that makes them feel. I got a lesson plan on that I gotta do next week. That's pretty corny. But
I have some activities I've done for that question. If you want them, email you.
But it's been pretty cool. You said you've been out in the city. What's your favorite color?
Oh, I can't answer that.
Why not?
That's like cheating.
Oh my God.
No, it's too hard. I really like reds. I like dark reds. I like turquoise, but I think I like turquoise because I remember my mom's favorite color is turquoise. Greens, earth. I mean, green and purple are together so much in earth. Metallics.
You just going with the earth vibes right now.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Lava type colors.
Yeah. If that was something that you would actually go ahead and paint, would it be like that? Or would it look like that?
Well, right now, the piece I'm working on has those colors. One of them, the biggest one.
Some texture. And
Always. Yeah.
Always Coca-Cola. If you were to try any type of medium of like the arts that you aren't currently doing now, what would it be?
Man, I have always really loved dance. And I view, dancing is a beautiful thing. And, I know I've gotten to know a lot of really beautiful dancers. And I think just finding freedom in your body and how that brings out what's inside, I think is really, there's a form of ecstasy in dancing.
I can't dance at all. I'm not. Like, I got some little moves, you know what I mean?
Who decides that? I think it's just more of like a feeling.
So you'll be a dancer.
Yeah.
You can go to Juilliard and all that.
Not Juilliard, but I think if I could go back, I would have loved to have taken like Indian classical dance. So I've been thinking about picking, taking a few classes. I've been learning the djembe. I've been doing a little drumming, and so once I get that a little bit more, I'd like to move towards tabla. Tabla is it's a difficult percussion instrument. It's so I'm just trying to build my ambidexterity. Yeah.
I wish there was like this point when we present this to like YouTube or something where that just comes across the screen. It's like ambidextrity, like woo, like that, like right there with that two what is it, quotation marks? The Virgil quote,
It's a lot of
the ones that
syllables.
Virgil have made so infamous at this point. Are you checking out any designers or anything like that?
I love that you asked that question. Yeah, shout out to Minika Ko. She's this really talented, smart businesswoman. She was working in finance in New York, and then a few years back started a fashion company, sustainable company. Their proceeds go to different causes. So right now, she's been featured in New York Fashion Week. She's getting ready for New York Fashion Week, and she has a show called Collision coming up in March for Women's History Month, and so I'm collaborating with her. There's like 20 artists collaborating. Sound is collaborated. They have a model call in 2 weeks. I'll go and select my model for what I'm working on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And I got my friend the hookup, and so if she gets called in the open call, I'll just pick her.
Her.
They said we can go in and kind of have an eye, and it's a whole range, right? She really reached out to local artists, people that she was watching on Instagram, and the venue is dope. We all met there, and it'll be cool. It's a cool opportunity.
I peeped the Instagram name. I said peep the Instagram. You know, as an educator, someone of that stature, does that really the
A lot of people don't
dean,
use that word with it, but thank you.
the dean,
Oh yeah, that title.
that's
It's a
that's
title.
yeah, it's a
And it can feel
title.
stuffy. So I veer away from introducing myself as that. When people ask what I do, I'll much rather say educator.
Yeah.
I think that's more comprehensive. I think dean, I had this interesting a conversation went over break. I was talking to my great uncle, and he's in his 80s, and he went to school in Pakistan, and he didn't understand what dean meant in the sense how I do it, because where he's from, the dean is the headmaster.
Yeah.
So it's just a charter school thing. You don't really,
yeah.
I was able to meet with a colleague today who does some social work at my school, and he was just saying that, we love the kids, and this is the first time he's seen a dean that the kids like, and that meant a lot. I think just you cannot teach behavior without having a relationship with someone. Someone will not hear what you have to say. And so I really love all my kids, but I also am always willing to admit when I know I could have done something better. And so there's a lot of conversations that happen. My kids help run my Friday assemblies. I have a group of 8th graders who just, they do my tech, my PowerPoints, my basketball timer, everything that needs to be run. And so the kids are getting to see, community within the school more and more each year.
A village.
You should come by the assembly sometime. Fridays, mission control, everyone.
Oh,
We'll be doing everything.
I seen one. There was you were welcoming men to come celebrate the kids as they were coming.
Yeah,
in.
we had a community greeting.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, and I like
Yes.
that. What I mean, I just be moving around so much, but I'm watching. I'm
I
watching.
appreciate that,
You know
man.
what I mean? I see everything. That's why I was speaking about the Instagram. It was like how much you put out there and how much you can and cannot do. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that'd have been kind of me just being overzealous about my energy that day.
Oh, but
because-
you've already given us so much good energy, and you'll be through.
Oh man,
And
I'm
vice
just
versa,
yeah, I appreciate
All
that.
energy's already out there.
Like that, you know what I'm saying? And for everybody that's been tuning in, another episode of our school. This is episode 26. Yeah, been going. We've been featuring, visual artists of all sorts, And as we're getting more and more into the schooling of because this is a university. This is a university, right? What color belt do you think you have in the art judo school? Yeah, that's what we ask here.
Something with extra stripes on
Something with
it.
extra stripes. It could be any color, but you don't have a color in per se, right?
You know, no.
How would that belt look? You said extra. You said a couple stripes,
Uh-huh.
and what else?
It would look good.
Oh, it would look good. It probably have your name on it.
What would your belt look like?
It look like a BB with a giant, giant, I like a giant, Yo, I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? Shout outs to BB Simon, man. He makes the Dipset belts. You know what I'm saying? Shout outs to all those designers out there. Yeah, that's a true New York ting right there. You done know. You know what I mean? Shout outs to everybody that's rocking the saggy Robins out there. Our school, yo, we taking it to the top. You reading any books right now?
Yes. I am reading. I'm reading a book of poetry, Rumi's poetry. So I have a couple books I'll just keep on my nightstand and pick up. Yeah, that's about it. Actually,
That's
Yeah.
cool. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's reading books
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yo, we got some artwork up here too. You know, it's pretty cool. You use alcohol base. You said alcohol what?
Alcohol ink
Alcohol.
from
ink.
Artists and Craftsmen.
Shout out-
Bushwick.
Yeah, shout out to the gang. You know what I mean? I gotta finish that gate. You know what I mean? Free OES too. You know, young boy, he up there. He was wilding for a second year. He got pinched. Yeah. You know, but you know how that go. Yo, we gonna keep this rolling. You know what I mean? Like I've been going, and all of that. I think about artists of today. Are there any artists that you would like to shout out? You know, that's really doing their thing.
Yeah. Oh man. A lot of really beautiful people in Brooklyn and around the world. I would like to shout out Kamau. He was a Brooklyn-based artist. He's in LA now, coming back and forth, but is releasing some really amazing work. He has a huge breadth of work, thousands of songs, and he's extremely talented. My roommate, Nati, beautiful henna artist and graphic designer, and has just a really great mind. She's someone who's been working and now has her own business. She is a working artist, and that to me is so is impressive, and it's so nice to come home from something so opposite job-wise and see someone doing something that a lot of people are, striving for. Learned a lot from her, my friend Laulu. Yeah, just a lot of people out
You
there.
just mentioned Lalu. Yo, boy, answer your DM, bruh. Stop playing with me, God. He already know what time it is, man. I'm trying to get him up here. You know what I'm saying? I bumped into him like 2 days ago on the train and stuff like that. You know, so shout outs to Lalu,
Yeah.
man.
Masa,
Yeah, Masa.
Patrick Doher,
Yeah, man. Everybody, man.
Dre.
Gang, man. Y'all already
Yeah.
know, man. Come on up here, man. We
a lot
gonna
of
get
really
you.
great people. Mr. Hip, can't wait to see you. It's So Vegan. Can't wait to go to Joshua Tree. Yeah.
I'm throwing out some names out there.
A lot of great.
Yo,
now
all
that I'm
part of
actually
the
thinking about
community
it.
too. You know what I mean? Shout outs to everybody that's checking in.
Brooklyn Raga Massive.
Yo,
Yeah.
gang. Anybody else?
A Slap Collective. Everyone through there. Chilean.
Gang.
Yeah,
Bree, what's up?
Everyone.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Really
cool.
great work. Yeah, passions. Just really great work happening.
Yo, it's so crazy how just
Material for the arts.
Yo, what's up, Moda?
Kitty realness.
You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like a lot of it is support and supporting one another, and that's where I find that I'm really happy.
Yeah,
Supporting
you
my
know.
friends who are artists and
Moda needs
learning.
to they need to have I know a lot of I'm sorry, Moda. I know we artists we be stingy sometimes, but please can you just like open it up to like maybe like 2 times a month instead of 1? You know what I'm saying? Can you open up
I'm getting my account set up.
Can you open up the bag to at least 2 times a month rather than 1? Please, Material of the Arts. Hey, we know what you're doing up there at art school. Don't think we don't know.
They're
gang.
doing a lot.
Yeah, they're doing a lot. Shout outs to
up
everybody.
there.
Yo, shout outs to that factory, man. Y'all doing a lot for artists out here.
Yeah,
You know,
and
hopefully
schools.
if you check this out, you'll understand that, there's entrepreneurs, there's educators, there's those that practice in all crafts that know what's going on out here, especially if you're in New York City, gang. You already know. I know about everything. You heard? Because I'm Professor X. Dang. Fucking Professor X. Yo, this has been another episode of our school. You know what I mean? We're here with Sadaf Padler.
Potter.
Padler.
There you go.
Padler. Well, you know,
No
and
L, no L.
and you know, I put that in the email. That was the first thing. That was like when we was first was talking. I was like, oh my God, I spelled it wrong.
I don't
Yeah, right.
remember.
That was always, I always been spelling it wrong. Always been saying it wrong. So I've always been, you know what I mean, a little bit, nervous about,
Interesting.
yeah, approaching the name, So shout out to everybody that's been tuning in. What's in the future? What's going on? What's up next?
Well, tomorrow's Monday, and so I'll get a coffee, and I'll go to Gates and go in the playground and open up the door and greet 400 kids.
You know, I was thinking about a meme today. It was like, only in New York will you hear, yo, let me get some of that coffee before you hear good morning. That's crazy. Because that happened to me. I was going to the store to go get a coffee, and before this lady really walked up on me. It's like 8:30 in the morning, and she really walked up on me and was like, "Yo, let me get some of that coffee." I was like, "Good morning." She was like, "Yeah, you're right. Good morning, but let me get some of that coffee." So shout out to everybody that's out there on a Monday, on a Monday that is, you know what I mean, gonna be welcoming 400 students.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
Rounding
What
up.
song is that? Before that time where the 400 kids like rush through those doors, what song is there? A song that you're playing in your head? What's going on right there?
I'll play my music from my phone and have in my pocket and just have like what I listen to, mellow, vibey music, kind of like relaxing but also energetic stuff. I'll play in my office sometimes if kids need to just meditate or. In the morning, their energy is already there. The kids are playing in the playground, playing sports from 6:40, 6:30 as soon as they get there. So when I open the door, they have to throw me the football, and I catch it, and then most time I catch it, and then we get started.
I had I remember playing basketball before I was going to class. And smelling all crazy. And like, yo, what am I doing with myself? How did I get all this energy? But that's, what I mean, that's just me, you know what I mean, in my life. But shout out to all those students out there that's going to,
Yeah, and we have we have kids who are in Brooklyn United, Brooklyn Live. We have kids who play at the Apollo Theater, kids who are in different groups, playing instruments. So I also shout out to all the families and parents who are really cultivating this still in their kids outside of school. I'm seeing community programs really enriching some of my students' lives, and so we just need more and more of that. So thank you, Math, as well, for the work you're doing.
Yo, man, it's just about being about gang. Y'all already know what time it is, you know what I'm saying? I'll be in the streets, streets.
Part of the same
in
machine.
the schools. Yeah, all that. And I just like connecting the dots. So, where could they find you, or would you like for them to find you?
Sure. You can find me on Instagram, Pitter Patter, Pitterpadder. And you can learn more about my school there. You can learn about Fire Zone. Fire Zone is an arts education program. We partner with 10 schools in Brooklyn. I'm helping out with them. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of my art.
Yeah. Yeah, henna art. You know what I'm saying?
Keeping an eye out for the fashion show. I'll be selling some stuff, doing some markets over the next 2 months. So I'm always posting on there.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Gang. You know what I mean? Math is in the back. You know what I'm saying? Being the best engineer in the
Math's
world.
in the DM.
Yeah. Chilling. You know what I'm saying? Yo, shout out to Sosa, everybody. 1718 Collector, S.STREET Media. You know what I mean? Another episode of Art School. You are here with your host, your baby moms, a.k.a. the Silverist of the Surferist, a.k.a. the Multicolored Power Ranger, a.k.a. Professor X, because I handle all my business sitting down. Yo, this has been a nice Sunday. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't have to get bundled up. I really didn't feel like there was like a nose hair cracking in my nose because it was too cold. Shout outs to Chicago because they were slammed with their coach. So I hope that whole little swoop from Canada that goes off the Great Lakes, which makes like the whole Chicago cold. You know what I mean? I hope the survivors and everybody out there is a little
I wouldn't mind a
more.
snow day.
Yeah.
So
You know.
sorry, everyone.
Yeah. You know. And to everybody that's been tuning in, man, it's been episode 26. You know what I mean? The best playlist on this channel. You already know what time it is, gang. Yo, Grad. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Grandma? All that good stuff. Yo, Math, whenever you ready, good bro. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Namaste and the whole nine. You know what I'm saying?
Happy Monday, everyone.
For real, right? Well, happy Monday. Damn. I got training in the morning. Facts.